Oh, hey guys! This is the part two of the installation for the HP 14 DQ2040CA. So 2040CA. That's the model. I wasn't able to complete the whole installation because I actually had to order the screen for the client, as mentioned in the first video, because he didn't know the resolution that he had. Because for this specific model, you can actually either have or need the 1366 by 768 screen or the 1920 by 1080. So when I opened up his system to find out, because he didn't know what it was, and you can't really check it through plugging it in through an external monitor or a TV, because it'll actually give you the native resolution, and that's the issue. So he didn't know. So the only way to really find out is you actually have to take apart the system and get the part number in the back of the screen, which I did, and then we found out that he needed the 1920 by 1080. So going back to this is if you've actually watched the part one of this of the disassembly. Right now you're doing the installation for the new screen. So this is where you should be if you actually watch the last up or watch the previous video up until the last step. So this is where you're going to be now with the brand new screen. So what you want to do is take it out of the box and then position the screen in this orientation as you see here. Um, and the best way to just to follow me, just to follow my cursor. That's the best way to really follow and do what you got to do. So basically, take your brand new screen and place it in the order that is here. What I did was I kind of made the mistake of placing the double sided tape here, as you can see, because I placed it one, assuming that this was going to be equal to the length of where it needs to go. So just remember that when you're placing these two double-sided rubber tape, that the OEM one that it came in the screen, because if you're able to salvage it, this is what it looks like. It's almost 100% mint, and it's flat, and you can easily use it without any issues. And it's even better than a double-sided tape with a 3M double-sided tape. So going back to this here, just to show you what I did here, I ended up putting one strip here, and then I left about 3/8 of an inch at the end, and the same thing as this side here. So, and then if you can see here, actually, this is what I did wrong, because when I flipped the screen, because this screen was in the opposite orientation where the bottom end was actually, sorry, where the bottom end was here. And if you look at it here, when I flipped it again, the bottom is actually at the top, and that's where it needs to be. So if you can, the only reason why I was avoiding having to do that, because I was trying to avoid not touching the power button, because you have to remember, right? We didn't disconnect the battery, so you got to be careful, right? So if you didn't disconnect the battery, I would advise you to do it this way, where it's away from the power button, and then you just put the strip. But the whole thing is, just remember, place this up on top so that your strip can be in this orientation. But what it did, as you can see here, it's actually incorrect, because if you look at the tab, it's not going to meet up. So with this one here, I actually had to remove both of them. So just gently remove it. And if you've done the same mistake like I did, if you didn't, then good for you. Then if you didn't, if you did, then you just got to make sure that this, this double-sided rubber tape here will actually go in about 5/8 of an inch from the corner edge to here. So you'll actually need to come here so that the tab can actually meet up with here. And as you can see here, this is almost like close to like, you know, close to like, 5/8 of an inch or a little bit more, and it's not going to meet up with the tab that needs to be here. So this part here needs to be moved right beside or running parallel to this tape here. So once you've done that, then you're good to go. You know, and if you look at it here, I end up connecting the cables. So you remember what when I said from the previous video, when you're plugging the cable back in, take your time and do this, is because if you end up not using two hands to actually put this together and to seed the 30 pin cable back together, you can easily short or do something, because the last thing you want to do is let metal on metal touch, because you can actually create a spark. If you create a spark, I can guarantee you your motherboard is shot. So you gotta just be very careful and just take your time. If you do it in a single sequence where you're grabbing the cable where it was once situated here from the previous video, it was just kind of just laying up here. All you do is you take it, hold your this corner here with your left hand, holding the tape a little bit, and then using your right hand to hold this metal part and the tape on the right side. And once you just all you have to do is just slide the pins into position, like align it without even touching anything, and then just in one motion, just pull it forward towards you, and it will actually click. Because once it clicks on both sides, you know that you've had it locked. Or if you look at it here carefully, it's completely flush with a 30 pin socket, and then just push down the tape, and you're good to go. If you're on a slight angle where one is a little bit higher and then the other end is kind of deep more, you just push it in quickly so that you can actually hear it click, because it will make a little clicking sound. Then you know that you've had it seated properly. And if you have good eyesight, not like me, I have to use glasses now because I'm in my 50s. But hey, just make sure you do it in a single straight motion with your left and right hand holding this corner here with the tape, and your right hand holding this corner with the tape, and then just pull it up straight towards you, and then you'd be good to go. So it's not difficult. I just wanted to make sure you guys do it right, because some people, if they're not given directions on how to do this, because a lot of videos, they won't tell you these things. You're just going to see some guy just grab it by one hand or two hands and just put it up quickly. He's not telling you guys how to, what if you do something wrong, this is what can happen. And this is why I'm just trying to teach you guys, so that you guys don't mess up on the job. you know um and what I did here, like I said in the previous video too, I end up using just 2 layers of Scotch tape, which is perfectly fine. And you can use the original double-sided tape too, right? That actually came with the unit, which is actually right up here. What I actually end up placing here, so you can put that right over, or you can just put it right over the original tape that you had. That was right here. Sorry, right here. You can put this piece here, this one here, over this piece, or you can just use a double side. You can use Scotch tape like what I did, and which is perfectly fine. It ain't gonna go anywhere, so don't worry about it, because there's still a lot of there's a good at least maybe 3/8 to half an inch of wire that's not gonna go anywhere. So you do have a little bit of flex, so no worries. And so this is, once you've done that, so this is where I want to make important note too. So as you can see here, I've actually ended up placing the screen, the rear screen, bezel, or the frame, right on the table or on the glass, because now your keyboard should be almost laying up about 80 degrees up in the air. So what you want to do is you're gonna see here, it was, I don't know, it's kind of just, it was a really gloomy day today, hard for me to get a lot of light. So what you want to do is, when you are aligning the screen, because you're only going to have one shot, right? Because if you end up pushing this down, because remember here, you see the strip here, that is your tape, left and right. Once you lay the screen down, if you put pressure on it, it's going to stick, and then you're going to have a hard time getting it out without it wrinkling. And that's where I'm trying to get you guys to literally align your screen, starting from the bottom left and the bottom right. Make sure that it's situated, because when you look at it here carefully, I know you can't see because it's a dark picture, but you will see it in your own frame. You're going to see that it runs down like this, down and then back to the right, and then back up and then back to the right. So just make sure that you're able to fit this black part here, which is the inverter, to the screen. Make sure that it fits nice and snug, and it sits where it's supposed to sit. Because once you've aligned this piece here from this left side here to the right, the rest will align itself. It'll literally, the screen will just sit right on top and go from here, right on top of the frame. And then you have it perfectly right. And then just remember that, right? Then once you've done that, just turn the power button on, press your power button, just make sure that the screen works. And as you can see here, it's aligned perfectly. And as you can see here, remember I was trying to tell you, it's a little bit brighter here. As you can see that it actually goes around the edge there. There's that drop there that I was talking about here. Once you have this black section here, the inverter, sitting into its cubby hole where it's supposed to fit properly, then you've aligned it properly. So just remember that, right? So it'll actually sit properly, so that you guys can actually have it flush. And then once you put in the plastic frame, the front bezel around the screen to make it look, clean, then that you can easily clamp down the fasteners properly, so that it'll actually clip back on and stay on. And as you can see here, I wanted to show you, because I kind of made it a little bit too long, the end piece, where this is a little bit more than, is about close to 3/8 of an inch, a little bit too long. So what you can do is you can just take your I didn't want to use scissors. Scissors are not as sharp as poultry shears. I was using poultry shears, so I ended up cutting half of this out. So do both ends, and as you can see here, this is long too, so cut half of that out. If you actually left it long, about 3/8 of an inch or a little bit longer, it's not a big deal. So just cut half of it out, so that you at least have about a 3/8 of an inch tab, or even a little bit less, or quarter of an inch, and then so that it sits in this section here. And this is where your goal is, right? Because as you can see, if you have this length here coming down, starting from here, it's going to overlap onto the close to the hinge area. So just cut half of this and you'd be good. And this is what I did here is, as you can see, I end up cutting with my poultry shears, and it fits almost perfect. So all you got to do is use your fingernail or a little pick tool, plastic better than metal if you can, and just poke it at the bottom, just tuck it into a little cubby hole there. And the same thing is on the right side. This was too long, so I had to use my cutters and cut this in. And this side here had to be shorter from the other side for some stupid reason, but it's okay. Just cut it and then tuck it in there also. And as you can see here, I've already tucked it in on the left side, and then the right side is exactly the same way. So then you're good to go. So the next thing you want to do is, if you can, grab a nice soft cloth, nothing abrasive, just like a soft cloth. I have one of my chamois that I use here. So this is where you want to press down from the top left-hand corner to the bottom left-hand corner. Just push down gently, not hard, but enough pressure to make sure that 100% that you got the double, rubber tape behind the screen, nice and sticking to the rear part of the screen bezel. And then you do the same thing as on the right side. So start off from the top right, and then just run it down like this. Just look at my cursor of the mouse and just go up and down until you know that you pushed it about a couple times, and it's completely sealed. So and then you're good to go with that. And then the last part here for the screen, just remove the protective film that the brand new screen comes with, because it starts off at the bottom right here. Just grab the yellow tab and then just remove it. I normally keep this for my clients, because when I'm finished doing the whole install, I'll put it back in there so they know that they got a brand new screen. It just looks better that way, especially when you're a business doing that. So just, I mean, if you're doing it for yourself, just throw it out, or do what you got to do. And this is we're getting close to the end here. So this is the front, plastic bezel, that the cosmetic part that covers the screen, right? So put this back in here, and just to kind of just seat it on top of your laptop. So now what you want to do is to put your keyboard down on your table, and then just almost position it almost like how you were going to use your laptop. So, and then just lightly place this whole plastic bezel on the in front of your screen. And then I'll show you how to do it here, because I tried the left and I tried the right. The left was difficult the way I see it. I want to make it easier for you guys. So I noticed on the right side it went in a lot easier. So what you want to do here, if you can, you see this light gray, the tab there, that actually where your bezel tucks under, it goes into. What you want to do is use your left hand and pull this out a little bit. Once you pull this out a little bit, then you can actually slip down this corner and just push it into place, and just make sure that it aligns properly to the corner here. As you can see here, remember where the tab it clicks. So here, I'll show you here. So this is what I did. Okay, look, so when you pull that out, because I had to use my other hand obviously for the camera, but if you're using your left hand, pull this out, and then use your right hand to push the plastic bezel in underneath the bracket here, and then it will go in place, and follow through, and then just pull a little bit here closer to the middle, and do the same thing, push the bezel down. And once you keep doing that, as you can see here, it starts to slip into place, or it starts to fall into place, because you want this to grab all these tabs to show. You see this tab here will still show. I think there's about 4 of them, but your plastic bezel will actually slip underneath, and it's almost completely flush if you see at the line here. And you finish off right to the left hand corner, and we're almost done. And so just leave that for now like that, because I don't want you to start tightening the section here, because that's going to be the last step. So the next step is, what you're going to do is go to the top left-hand corner of your bezel and just do exactly how you see my hands. Just use your middle finger and your thumb, and then just squeeze, and you're going to feel the fasteners click or make a popping sound. So because every time you hear that sound, that that is actually sealing, and the fasteners are holding to the back of the frame. So, and then you just keep going on to the middle near the camera. Just be careful, don't push in the camera area, just push in this area here, because there is a little clip on the left side and the right side, and you'll hear it. So there's a 1 or 2 here also. But once you start working, at the distance of about an inch each time with your thumb, in the front, and then your middle finger in the back, or your index finger in the back, you're going to hear it clip, and you're going to feel it take anyways. So that's a good thing. Then you work your way all the way to the right hand side. As you can see here, this is near the camera section. Just clip there, and then go to this side and keep going to the right. and then do the same thing as from the top left hand corner to the bottom left. Just keep, just squeezing it from the front and back at the same time, and then you'll feel it just take. And this is the right hand side. I'm doing the same thing, and then just work your way down to the bottom here. And this is where it's a little important, because you remember when you're removing it, you had to put your fingernail underneath the pop, that the fastener from under here. So you're doing it reverse now. So what you want to do is on the left side, and the on the left side here, you want to just put your middle finger in the back, and then your thumb in the front, and then just squeeze pretty hard, and you're going to hear a clicking sound, which that means that your bottom left bezel is actually clamped in there and clipped in there into the back of the frame. So and that's good there. And this is pretty simple here too. So now what we're going to do is we're going to be installing the clip and making sure that it stays on with this plastic bezel here. So what you want to do is, to do it properly, use your left hand, hold and brace the back of the screen right at the bottom, and then use your right hand to squeeze forward. Push this forward this way. Push it forward like just like that. And you're going to feel it clip. And then you can hear it. So you're going to hear it make a clipping sound. And once you've done that, then you know that the plastic tabs. Let me show you here. You see this tab here? These tab here. This is what needs to click in. So there's a few of them. So once it clips in, it's going to hold in place. And then once you've done that from left to right, as you can see here, it's completely sealed. And close it up too and inspect the back. And as you can see here, it's completely sealed also. And then you're good to go. And that's all you got to do. I don't usually do part one and part two, because I usually have the screen in stock, but it just here, I would just it's a long process, but you know what? I know that you guys can do it, and it's pretty simple. And if you're kind of fumbled on a single or a certain step, just go back to the pictures, and you can easily follow my instructions this way, because it's that simple. And look at it here. It looks brand new. Well, like the condition he brought it to me, but he's got a brand new screen and it works awesome. So thank you for watching the part two, guys. And if you have any questions, like I said, just put them in the comments below, and like the video and subscribe if you can. It helps. And have a good day, guys. Cheers.